Welcome to the Love and Sex Today show with Dr. Doug Weiss. Doug has been healing hearts and relationships for decades. He's helped thousands of people release the shame and the guilt, restoring hope, helping people get free from addictions to enjoy a better sex and love life. Here he is, your host, Dr. Doug Weiss.
Welcome to Love and Sex Today. I am Dr. Doug Weiss, and I will be your host for our 37th conversation. Today's topic, of course, is going to be sex language number 2. In our last podcast, we talked about sex language number 1. If you haven't gotten that, you probably want to find out if that's you. Sex language number 2 is going to be some of you, and it's going to change your life. I want you to go to loveandsextoday.com, subscribe there. Review us on iTunes. That's really important. If you could help us with that, that would be fantastic. One of you every month will be selected for a one-time private conversation with myself, and we will be able to have fun and accelerate some area of your life. Also, get a free chapter of one of my books on the webpage, Love and Sex Today. Now, I want to get right into sex language number 2. Sex language number 2 is called desire. In this sex language, this is really a powerful thing to understand, because if your spouse or your partner is motivated by desire sexually, it's going to make a big difference in the way you do asking foreplay and all of sexuality. And there's a lot more on that in the book, 5 Sex Languages. That's a fantastic book, and it can really transform your sex life to be understood sexually and to understand your partner sexually. Now, desire is exactly that. What really is at the core of the sexuality of this person is they want to be wanted. Now, this can show up in many ways. They want to be pursued. This is someone who loves the sexy text or the voicemail or the call in the middle of the day. Hey, I'm really wanting you. Hey, I really desire you. Hey, can you get home early because I want to make love to you in a powerful way. I want to really have fun with you sexually. I mean, this will mess that person up so much because they want to be wanted. It's part of the way they're designed, okay? They love when you take initiative and you plan a sexual encounter. Hey, I want to meet you at a hotel. Hey, I want to have sex in this room or this place, or I want to go there and have sex with you. And although no matter what you plan, it would be nice, the fact that you planned, the fact that you thought through and you want them sexually is intoxicating. It is exactly what they want. It makes sex so much better because it is in their language of desire. They get pleasure from being wanted. Okay, that's really, really important. That shows up in the way that you grope them. That shows up in the way that you talk about sexuality. And if your communication is, hey, I think you're hot, I want you, that just is going to drive them crazy. Now, for them, sexuality is bigger than just sex. It's anticipation. It's the kind of the dance of it. You know, that for them, sexuality is definitely outside the bedroom. Now, for some sex languages, you know, they like to have, it's more there. But for this sex language, it's more global. And this is probably a good conversation for us to have because depending on how you were raised or your cultural, religious belief system, you might think sex is an act. It's something that you do. Well, for this person, it is something they are. They are sexual, just like they're spiritual, they're financial, they're friends, okay? They are sexuality. And when you want them, you are speaking to their whole being. You're not saying, I want to have an act with you. You're saying, I want you. I want your heart. I want your body. I want your spirit. I want you naked. I want all of who you are. Basically, all of me wants all of you. When you get really good at that messaging and that communication, not just verbally, but also physically, you know, by the touch, by the encouragement that is sexual. You know, some people have a real challenge with just talking about sex. You know, well, if you have sex and I have to instead of I get to, you're going to put this person in pain because every time they feel that you have to have sex with them, they feel unwanted. Now, if someone's sex language is being wanted, being desired, and you have an attitude of, I have to have sex with you, you are intentionally putting pain in this relationship. They will feel hurt. They will feel frustrated. They will feel scammed. They will feel rejected, unimportant, and ugly. Now, if you want your spouse to feel that way, that's an odd thing to think or want, but it would create distance, and that would definitely fall in line with what we call intimacy anorexia, intentionally creating pain to create distance. But now I understand if you don't know that. If you don't know that your spouse's sex language is desire, okay, fair enough. But after listening to this, if they are, you should be able to be in tune with that, because they're going to want to hear those words, okay? And they're going to angst about you not making it special, you not making it feel like you want sex. I can tell you this happens to a lot of men and women. I find a lot of men are in the desire category for whatever reason. They want to be wanted because men want to be wanted sexually more than they want to be loved generally. And so this being wanted is huge. So you can imagine, pair that up with someone who thinks sex is bad and dirty and save it for the one you love, or that sex, what they were told as a little girl, that, sex is something you have to do. It's a duty. It's like washing dishes. You just forge your way through it and, it'll be okay. And how awful is that? So if you have those messages about having to have sex, that it's something you check off, that it's something that you have to do instead of get to do, you're not going to be a great lover for this person. This person is going to be in pain from you on a regular basis, and it could actually end the marriage, because it could actually set a situation up where the being wanted voices are at work. The being wanted voices are at the gym. The being wanted voices are maybe in their volunteering or in their spiritual community. And so guess where they're going to be? They're going to be in those places, because that's a real important voice for them to hear. So now if you know that your spouse wants to be wanted sexually and desire is really their sex language, then get really good at this. Now imagine if you took this information and instead of fighting it, instead of trying to make them like you, make them like your sex language, which is the number one issue. That's why I wrote the book, The 5 Sex Languages, because I found so many couples are trying to make their spouse like them sexually instead of celebrating what they actually got. If you bought a German Shepherd, making it want to believe it should be a Dalmatian is going to be frustrating for everybody. All right? When you have a desire, sex language spouse or partner, it's not going to change. Okay? So if it's a woman, she's going to want to be wanted. She's going to want to be told, I want you sexually. You're awesome lover. You're the best. I love being with you sexually. That little text or touch in the morning, that little kiss that says, hey, you're sexy, baby. I still love you. I still want you. Stay beautiful for the day. Okay? I'm looking forward to being with you tonight. That kind of stuff will drive her crazy. And if it's a man, it will drive him crazy, because it's what he wants to hear. So I want to encourage you, as we go through the next several sex languages, really listen to all of them to find out who you are. Now, every sex language has a mature version. That's being wanted, being pursued, you planning it, okay? But there's also the immature version, okay? And that can be about controlling, making sure it's right, saying it's right, scratching an itch. Sex can be over important for them. Them wanting to be almost worship instead of wanted. And there's a definite line there, okay? And there could be a dark side to every sex language we're going to talk about. However, the good side is really there. So try to focus on this. If you are wanted, desire, sex language, let your spouse hear this podcast. Let them know that you're not unique, that there's millions of you. And if they, for whatever reason, this relationship ends and they get into another relationship, they have to learn the sex language of another person. So they might as well learn yours. Learn yours. Learn your spouse's sex language and really get good at it, speaking it, saying it, understanding it, foreplaying it, what to say during sex. You can imagine what this person would want to hear during sex. Now, in the 5 sex languages, I give you like a whole bunch of statements that will take this person to another planet. Because when you speak in the sex language of your spouse or partner, you are amplifying sexual pleasure. Now, who doesn't want their spouse to have an amazing, awesome sexual encounter? Well, I definitely do. I want my spouse to be sexually fulfilled. It's fun. It's engaging. And so do you. You want to have an incredible sex life. That's why you listen to Love and Sex Today. Well, I want you to go to loveandsextoday.com. I want you to subscribe there. Review us on iTunes. Hey, I found out that I'm a desire sex language guy. All right, let someone know that was powerful for you, that was fun for you. Review us there. One of you will be picked for a private conversation with myself. Also, you get a free chapter of one of my books. And remember that as you're learning the sex languages, you're becoming more fluent in the language that your partner or spouse loves. Remember, always have great love and have great sex today.
That's it for our episode of Love and Sex Today with Dr. Doug Weiss. Head on over to loveandsextoday.com and be sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes. When you do, and you post a review on iTunes, some lucky listener is going to win every single month a private confidential coaching call with Dr. Doug Weiss. Also, feel free to ask any question you like. You can push a button, speak your question, and Dr. Doug will answer your question in a future episode. So be sure to subscribe to the show. Doug's got some great gifts for you, and we will look forward to seeing you next time.